There you are, sitting at home minding your own business when suddenly you are invited to your very first wedding. As an adult, what do you do? I know it sounds strange, but believe it or not, a lot of people just have no idea. What do you do when you have this weird save the date thing that comes across your computer or into your mailbox? What do you do about the RSVP, about guests, about food, about gifts? What to wear? What not to wear? What about a story before we get started, though? Because I want to point out, and this is something that I'm going to hit again and again and again with this video podcast. A wedding of somebody else, other than you, isn't about you, and you should not stand out. And I cannot emphasize that enough. So, the most important thing here is to talk about what do you do at your very first wedding. Now, I was lucky. I had parents who brought me to several weddings, so I had a general idea of what to do by the time I was a young adult. But I still screwed up royally at my first wedding as an adult. Now, let's take you way back 21 years old, roughly. And this particular wedding was for a friend of mine from school. And it had all the trappings of a elegant affair. But I didn't bother with reading the fine print. And because of that, I don't think I ruined the wedding, but I certainly didn't help it. And I also upset my friend. So the wedding was to take place indoors and outdoors. And there were some specifics about the attire and what I should have worn. One of the things I did, because at the time I was fashion forward, I mean, just look at me, right? I wore an outfit where I had a fairly bright blue suit, an orange shirt, and a red tie. I looked like Bozo the Clown, and back then I had a lot of hair. It wasn't a pretty look, but more importantly, it stood out horribly. I made an absolute mockery of the wedding by not paying attention. Now, this was a Hindu wedding, and they had a very specific dress code, and I completely omitted any information that came to me through not only the invite, but the save the date. All I had to do was read it. So I guess that's stressing the first thing. Read the invitation, read the save the date, get all that information, look at the fine print. And just as importantly, and this is something that I completely neglected, ask questions. You see, my memory of this event was seeing the group picture. And I'm a pretty big guy, and I stood out. So you see this giant group picture, the bride and the groom, and standing 10 people off, I believe me, I'm pretty sure they wanted to shove me off the picture altogether, is giant Bozo the Clown, standing out. I guarantee you that every single person, every relative that looked at that picture, their eyes drew to this weird looking dude wearing a loud, horribly put together suit. Now, there were a couple things I could have done, which I should have done, like maybe remove the tie or just removed myself from the wedding altogether because I stood out so horribly. And I even knew it then, but I didn't really care. And unfortunately, because of that, because of my lackadaisical attitude, I made a negative impression and hurt people I didn't want to hurt. And that's why it's so important, especially going to your first wedding, that you make sure that you take care of a couple things. Now, first of all, when you get the invitation, it's probably going to have things like a gift registry. We're going to get to that in a second, but that is a very important thing. And I know some of you out there are like, gift? I'll hand them some cash. We'll cover that once again in a second. But the next part of this is your attire. Is it a black tie, formal attire? Is it cocktail? Is it business casual? Or does it say cowboy boots, jeans, and a jacket. You gotta make sure that you find out what it says and adhere to what it says. Okay? Look, if you don't have the outfit and you really don't have the cash to get the outfit, don't go. Or you could rent. You'd be surprised what you can rent. Black tie affairs are indeed black tie affairs. Very good idea to talk to the groom or the best man, if you're not the best man, and find out what it is they're wearing and what they want other people to wear. The most important part of any wedding is the fact that the groom and the bride, they stand out. It's their moment. It's not yours. Unless, of course, you really want to stand out and, I don't know, cause havoc, but I don't recommend that. What I do recommend is putting out some effort in order to make sure that you look the part. There are indoor and outdoor events. Now, by the way, I would be remiss in saying that there are things that you really should not do. T-shirts, just don't. Don't be that guy. Don't wear some outrageous outfit that stands out. Please don't wear shorts unless it's a themed event where you can wear shorts. Don't wear sandals unless it's a themed event where you can wear sandals. Please don't wear black socks with sandals and shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, as family members have with me. Think about who is there. Now, you may have a buddy who's like, hey, whatever, we're going to throw down some beers and have a good time. Remember, there's a bride, and that whole family, too. You want to make a good impression. Think about them. All right? Let's move on to the gift registry. This is really important, and it can save you a lot of time and money. More often than not, they're online. And you could just click on it, find something. They basically have put a list of things that they want, and you can look and see if anything, A, sticks within your price range, and more importantly, B, is something that you feel represents you. Now, if neither of those things work out and you do not have a lot of money, there are other things you can do. Cash is one of those things where if you have to do it, then put it in an envelope, a nice envelope, and usually at a wedding there'll be a gift table where you can put full packages and you can slip these envelopes. Be super careful though. There's an awful lot of people there who understand that that's where they can take that money and run. I've actually seen events at weddings where people have stolen money right from the wedding and walked out. So be super careful with that. All right? The next thing is to make sure that RSVP is sent. Don't not send it, please. Respond. You can't just show up at the last minute. This is an incredibly expensive thing for them to do. And if you're bringing a guest, you need to let them know right away. Okay? Incredibly important. We're talking $100, $200, $300 per plate, technically per person. Not only that, but logistics. Those chairs are precious at an event. It's like a war zone, the way they set things up. And they need to make sure that every chair is filled properly. You need to be the one to help them, not hurt them. If you're bringing a date, make sure that date is someone who you can actually bring to a wedding, who won't, burn the place down, jump on top of a table, take off clothing, and ring it around their heads. Very important. Once again, you are trying to help them, not hurt them. It's not about you. It's about them. Okay? If you are a bridesmaid, if you're a groomsman, you can hang out with the bridesmaid, I suppose, but if you're a groomsman, or if you're the best man, make sure you talk to the groom and find out exactly how they want you to dress, where you should be, and when you should be there. Okay? That's a whole different topic, but it's important for you to keep that in mind. All right? Finally, food. It's pretty simple. Food comes in and you look at it and go, oh, okay, I can have the beef, I can have the chicken, maybe the fish, and there's a vegetarian option. Please let them know what you want in advance. That's why they sent it to you. It makes it a lot easier for them, and that way they know exactly who's coming and who to feed. Okay? Now, If your date or you are sensitive to soy and gluten and chicken, whatever, make the adjustments. You can let them know. In some cases, they will have something that will work for you. If they don't, please do not make a scene. Please do not lose your cool because you're hurting them. There's only so much they can do financially. Look, suck it up and bring a couple bars, you know? Um, Find some veggies. Usually those are fine. In fact, I recommend the vegetarian dishes more often than not because there's less to go wrong. And if the caterer is questionable, and if you're worried about perhaps you have a sensitive stomach, veggies are usually the way to go. Keep that in mind. One final point, have a plan B ready for transportation. More often than not, including at my wedding, people go there, have a great time, get absolutely hammered, and then don't have a way to get home because they cannot drive their vehicle. Nowadays, with Uber and all these other things, it is much easier to hire somebody to come and get you. However, if you don't have the app in your phone or if you're in the middle of the woods, you may have to find another way. Make sure that you've made some sort of plan for plan B before you go to that wedding, if you think there's even a chance that you might imbibe a little too much. All right, now this is where I turn it to you, the viewer and the listener. Let us know what you've done at your first wedding, what you would do at your first wedding, good things that you've seen at your first wedding, and bad things that you've seen at your wedding, and perhaps some recommendations that I did not cover. Guys, thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.